All right, so I'm in process of developing this um, game, and this is the goal of this is to enable us to do what? To do crisis simulations. This is in connection with our diplomacy simulation, but I want for people to be able to go through crisis simulations, whether they have the opportunity to play with other people or not. And so let me just give you a quick tour, and you can go in here and do a variety of things. You can go in here and experiment. You can see sort of how it's going to go, although there's a lot that still needs to be done, and I'm eager for your feedback. And I'm going to set this up so that you can weigh in on what are the likely results of different actions, because the goal of this is to have a situation where you play the role of a country, and you're able to see the impact of your actions on your ratings. And we'll go through the different ratings, but then you'll also be able to see what the impact of your actions are on the different countries that are involved. And it will be like a simulation where an event will happen. Let's say that there is a natural disaster, and then you take actions, and your actions have costs, and your actions have benefits, and then your actions have results. So, for instance, let's just take a look here. If you, for instance, you start off with these different ratings: political popularity, that's your popularity in your country; your national prestige, your military strength, the respect that your allies have of you, the strength that you have, your alliance strength, your economic power, your economic security, your military security, your independence with regards to natural resources, and your popularity abroad. We'll probably add to these things, but these are some important factors that go up and down for a country, and the how different events, diplomatic crises, affect these events or these ratings, let's say, impacts what a country is going to do. And then there's what's going on internationally. So how stable are things internationally? How stable is the economic situation? How stable is the military situation? What is the strength of diplomatic institutions like the United Nations? What is the strength of your military coalition? For the United States, the primary one is NATO. And then what's the strength of your rival coalition? So for instance, if there's a group of other nations that are in a military alliance, how strong are they? So these are some of the factors that are going to impact how you react to a situation. And then I've listed a bunch of countries. We'll have more, and it will probably be like in our diplomatic simulations where different events will have different countries involved. And then I have all of these as zeros, but they will default to certain numbers based on the strength of the country's military, how stable is the political situation, and sometimes that means how popular the leader is, because how popular the leader is going to affect A, whether they stay in office, or B, whether they can do the things that you're asking them to. For instance, if the leader of Great Britain is very strong and you're asking them to join you in a military coalition, then that's good. But if it's very weak, then they're having the same conversation here that you are going to have in your country. Okay? And then what's your relationship strength? And that's something that we're going to be working on. So, for instance, if you are the United States and you're seeking, let's say there's a treaty let's say Iran violates this nuclear deal that is coming into play potentially. How strong is your relationship with these other countries? So if you ask them to join in economic sanctions or military action, how willing are they going to be able to are they going to do that? Then of course, how strong their economy is going to affect whether they're willing to take economic action. How strong or effective is their diplomatic strength? So for instance, if you're asking China to join you in a condemnation of a specific country, is their diplomatic influence strong? Is your relationship with them strong? That's going to have an impact on whether they're going to be effective in your actions. How strong is their military? Okay, so these numbers are going to change based on in some cases they're going to default to certain numbers to start, and then they're going to change based on your actions. So let's take a look at how that might play out. So you can toggle with these buttons up here, you can toggle and just show certain things. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so that one is not great, but this one shows relationship. This one shows your points right now. This will eventually show the map. Right now I have the map on every page, and you can toggle, you can roll over the different countries to see what the countries' names are, etc. And I'll probably set this up so that relationships. So set it up so that when you click on one of these, you'll be able to see a picture of that country. Okay, and then over here, different events will start to happen. And this will be, in some cases, the first one will be things like natural disaster. And then as you start taking actions, and I'll show you what that means with regards to taking actions, down here at the bottom, let's do generate game board. Down here at the bottom, I've listed a variety of things, and these are really undifferentiated. Let me move that around just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. This is some of the actions you can take, as well as some of the events. This right now is an undifferentiated list, but you can see that you'll have a variety of options available to you. Okay, and then what's going to happen, by the way, you can go to this page. Remember, you can go to this page and click View Source, and you can see the code that I'm using to generate this. Now the map is using a jQuery function that I'm linking to called jVectorMap. So we're using somebody else's open source system for that. But this is cool. You can go through and see the things like the arrays that I'm using and the if logic, etc. And once we get it around a little bit clearer, you can once the thing's a little more developed, we'll go step by step and see how we're doing it. Right now, I'm sort of developing this on the fly, and so I don't know that this is the best way to develop it, but we'll explore that later. But you can just click View Source and see the source of it. All right, so let me just show you what I'm actually doing here. Oh boy, shoot. All right, let me pause this for a second. So what I do here is that for each of these actions, I'm setting it up so that there's a primary cost, PC, and a primary benefit. And it's a primary cost to political popularity. It's a primary benefit to other things. And these are the standings. These are these things. So every action, every event is going to impact these numbers, and every action that you take is going to impact these numbers. So if I go down here and I click Edit, okay, good. So what we're going to do is for each one, let me do a different one. So do this one, economic sanctions. Let's say there's a violation of a treaty, that's an event, and it's going to have a cost to this, and it's going to benefit this, certain points. Okay, so that's primary, that's immediately. And then we're going to click here, and your potential action, again, let me make this a little bit easier to see. Your potential action is going to have primary points. So for instance, if you take economic sanctions, then it's going to primarily affect certain things. Okay? And then what you're going to do is that's your primary cost to you, and then there's a primary benefit to you for specific actions. And this is really what we want to develop, okay? Because some things are going to have, we're going to just have to decide what are the costs and benefits of specific actions. And then we then have secondary benefits and secondary costs. If the thing that you take is, if the action that you take is successful, that's positive, then it's a secondary benefit and cost. And if it's negative, secondary benefit and cost. So what does that mean? Let's say that you decide to take to coordinate a coalition of countries to take economic action. Well, it's going to have a primary cost and a benefit to you. But then the question is it successful? And what we want to do is have that action be successful or unsuccessful based on your relationships, right? So if you have strong relationships with different countries and their political situations are strong and their economic situations are strong, then you requesting their support in a economic action will probably be successful. Same with military. If you have strong military and they have strong military, then the likelihood of them joining you in that military action is stronger. But then the question is it successful? And if it's successful, then you have, go back to